out the corner of my eye, I saw a pretty little thing approaching me. She said, I never seen a man who looks so all alone. Could you use a little company?
The genre of first-person shooters has well and truly been done to death over the past console generation, not to mention being a fairly popular one in the previous generation. On the high street you find titles such as Call of Duty and Battlefield topping game charts weekly until the next yearly instalment is released. Many games in this genre are largely in the same look and feel due to the lack of innovation that can be put into shooting titles. In this genre, odd gems can be found every now and again, but ultimately they either succeed massively or they fail. Borderlands, developed by Gearbox, as coined by them as a role-playing shooter, Borderlands combines features from RPGs and MMOs such as XP, skills, weapon proficiencies, and character specialities with popular FPS gameplay. When I first heard of the idea, I was confused as to what to think, but the game uses role-playing features to its advantage. The game is open-worlded in the most linear sense of the word. You have areas which are fully free-roam, but you must always teleport to the next area via the entrance at a particular point in the map. This makes the game feel big, yet keeping you from getting in over your head. It also features 4-player co-op, meaning one person can play as each different class to choose from. Borderlands also doesn't take itself seriously, which helps it a lot. It will consistently throw sex jokes, lashings of blood and gore, foul language, and millions of resources at you. This, whilst presented in a cartoony art style, makes the game insanely fun to play as it avoids realism as much as possible. Borderlands' story, even though it is being held together by sticky tape and blue tack, is reminiscent of the Treasure Island story. You have travelled to the planet Pandora in search of the Vault. The Vault is home to riches beyond your wildest dreams, and all other stuff that you would come with it. When you arrive, you find that the Vault is actually real, and will open soon. However, you must find the fragments of the key to open it. This will take you on a 20-ish hour-long adventure, which will include a wide variety of characters, environments, and enemies. The story is never fully present in the game though, which is unfortunate. It's crowded by the constant need to keep track of all your roleplay factors and the masses of enemies scattered around. You pick up quests such as fetch and grab quests, which always vary little in style, yet remain fun. Then you can take the quest back, reap the rewards, and a simple yet effective formula is established. The game plays like any market-leading FPS with its gunplay. Wide assortments of shotguns, assault rifles, snipers and pistols, and many more guns are dotted around the landscape. There are a total of 17,750,000 guns in Borderlands. 90% of these are variations of the same weapon, but it means you almost never get the same gun. The guns vary in stats, such as reload speed, firepower, and how quick it fires. This makes nearly every gun you find unique, making you shift your gun frequently throughout the game. Each character specialises in a gun type. Lilith uses elemental weapons, Roland uses shotguns and assault rifles, Brick uses explosives, and Mordecai uses snipers and pistols. Each character has a special skill as well. Lilith can turn invisible and damage things in her surroundings whilst doing so. Roland can deploy a turret, Brick gets his fists out and beats things to death, Mordecai gets his hawk to swoop down from the skies and kill things. This makes each person on a 4-player team essential as the game gets harder and harder the more people are added. The RPG aspects are handled very sparingly but well. XP is gained by doing tasks and killing things. You can manage your very limited inventory that progressively grows throughout your game but is still never big enough for you to carry all of your stuff. And skill points are awarded when you level up. Skill points are used on your character's skill, for instance increasing turret damage or the shockwave radius on the Siren's phase walk. This makes you more powerful and a more deadly threat. However, when you level up, so do enemies, meaning they are always a challenge. Usually. By the time you reach level 30, so about 3/4 of the way through the game, the enemies seem to not level up so often, and become something that lay by the wayside for the epic boss battles that clutter the game's final few hours. Borderlands is known for 2 main reasons, the first being its insane amount of guns, and the second being its distinctive art style. Reminiscent of graphic novels such as The Walking Dead, everything has thick black lines bordering it to characterize it. The colours are fairly bland and sun-washed, but that fits with the theme of the desert planet. Borderlands has a lot of brown, unfortunately, but where it uses colour, it really stands out. The art direction is what gives the game its character. Without it, it would be just another RPG game. This gives it humour. It gives it a unique look, and it gives it life. Pandora truly feels alive. It feels real, and this is because it's so unreal. Gearbox have somehow managed to create a world that feels so empty yet so alive, and unreal yet shockingly real. The art style helps express this balls-to-the-wall gung-ho attitude perfectly, with enemies exploding into guts all over the floor in fluorescent blood, and rivers that are a dodgy shade of brown, having been polluted with toxic waste, dead bodies, and various other types of shit. The planet of Pandora looks like an extremely large waste refuse site, without ever looking boring. The sound is barely notable. It's nothing special, but by no means is it bad. All you ever hear is profanity shouted by NPCs and explosions, giving the game no real ear-pleasing soundtrack. However, the game's opening cinematic has one of the most fitting songs, not to mention it being absolutely amazing. The song is Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant, a band I'm particularly fond of anyway, but this, coupled with the fantastic opening cinematic, is a great kickstarter to the game. Borderlands is outstanding. Shooting can compete with the market leaders and even stand up without the RPG elements. That said, the RPG bits, given a bit of tweaking here and there, could well make their own game, be it fairly simple. The game is accessible to both FPS and RPG noobs, yet still appealing to veterans, being easy to begin with and then progressing into a stunningly huge and hilarious boss battle finale. But of course, the game isn't perfect. I encountered frame rate problems on all platforms, especially on the PC, plus texture popping and frequently getting caught on the scenery. Even shots not registering at times, which is unacceptable. However, if you overlook these minor problems, Borderlands is a must-buy for shooter fans and worth considering for RPG fans, be it a little lacking. If you don't play this fantastic RPS, then you are missing out on one of the games of the year.